Hey everybody, happy Monday. Wait a second, what happened to the background?
Oh shoot.
Wait for it, wait for it. This is good, Boom!
Wow.
Look
Had to
how-
hit him with the drip.
So cute. You made it, babe. I'm so proud of you. So
I did.
good. So you guys, we are super excited to talk about this topic today, and we find it being very, very relevant. And it's talking about your relationship and if it can withstand a virus. Not talking about the coronavirus. We're talking about virus in general.
COVID-19.
Let's like talking about, a virus could be an ex walking back into the picture, an ex texting somebody else. It could be somebody that you think looks better than you that happens to walk by and capture somebody's attention. It literally could be anything. Anything could be a virus. It could stick, it could get stuck, it could make you sick, it could affect every single part of your life if you let it. So what we want to really shift into is, for one, think about that. Can your relationship withstand any virus? But is your relationship a painkiller or a vitamin? And this is where it gets really, really deep. So when we talk, I'm going to touch on painkillers and I'm going to have you touch on vitamins. Because if you just let me keep flowing, he ain't never going to talk. That's just how it happens. Right?
Right.
Okay,
That
so...
vitamin D though.
What? I'm out here. Wow, we should just stop it right now. Okay. So painkillers, painkiller relationships. If you think about it this way, painkillers are something you have to get a prescription for. It's something that can't just be readily available. Sure, like Tylenol in small doses, but we're talking like painkillers, like, that good. Like you got that morphine or you got that oxycodone, or however you say it,
You know a lot about
hydrocodone.
this.
Yeah, I've had a lot of surgeries, so I've had to take this kind of stuff. See, look at him.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Anyways, I'm done with you.
She knows.
But if you think about it, you can't just get that. You can't just walk into a CVS and get that, right? So painkiller relationships, is it just a temporary band-aid? Is it just you're kind of just getting by? Maybe this person in a relationship, you only have fun when you're drinking or smoking or having extracurricular activities, but you're not really getting to the root as to, can this person really take care of me mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually? Is it just a cover-up, just like a painkiller? Like, it's not going to solve anything, but your initial pain right there. However, vitamins...
Now, let me tell you guys a little bit something about vitamins.
Sounds like
now,
you know a lot about vitamins.
I do, as a matter of factly. So, one thing about vitamins is that, overall, if any of my fitness enthusiasts out there, bodybuilders, whatever, give me some hands up. Give me some emojis. Because any bodybuilder, anybody that's in the game of fitness knows that supplementation is key. And what do they stay away from? They stay away from comfort foods, things or things that don't attribute to their supplementation. Now, there's a reason why I mention that is because there's unfortunately like when you're in a state of readiness, right? You understand the critical need for vitamins or supplementation of vitamin type shit. Things, right? And so with that, when you're bodybuilding, right, you got to get the proteins, you got to get the BCAAs, you got to get the sometimes creatine, depends on if you're stacking a load of that gear, you have that too. There are a lot of things in need here that because you're working towards a goal. Now, where I think the critical part of this conversation shifts is that a lot of people don't understand their goal relationally, and so it kind of hinders their ability to focus on what it is that they actually need in the present moment. Now, I'm prophesying right here. Now, this is for somebody. Share it, click it, like it, whatever. Is that if you don't have a goal, you're inevitably going to miss out on what it is that you actually need, right? So, if you're saying, let's even shift it a little bit. You have a business, right? You don't know what you need, and you're just going to throw money in Facebook ads, right? That's the quickest way to light money on fire. You don't have a goal, you don't know what you need. So relationally, if you don't understand what it is that you're in need of, then it's going to hinder you badly. Unfortunately, a lot of people just want to be happy. Any people out there that want to be happy, put your thumbs up. Is that it's crucial to understand that happiness just isn't wrapped up in a feeling in as much as it is a fulfillment, right? Fulfillment over feeling, right? But you only get fulfillment once you have clarity over a particular goal. And once you hit that goal, and then it sparks kind of like that dopamine a little bit in that body. There's actual reactions that happen in your body similar to that of drugs, like cocaine or like weed and stuff like that.
How did we get to that from vitamins?
No. I'm getting somewhere. So we have this goal, and then once they execute it, right? it gives us this kind of like sense of feel good and achievement and stuff like that, but only because we had clarity. Now, once we reel it back into relationships, so many people want to be happy, but they do it in the wrong way. So then they end up medicating in a relationship. Medicating, I say that in a very, very purposefully precise word. Medicate. There's a very easy way to medicate in relationships. That's the one thing that a lot of people don't understand, is that if you're choosing to medicate in your life a particular person, like, I mean, have you, like, I'm sure you've heard it, and I'm sure some of you guys have heard it too, the term love drug. It's because it's an actual thing. It's an actual thing, which is crazy. You can use somebody as a drug because, similar to that of coke, of weed, however it is that you intend the purpose of that relationship or person, you could end up treating them like a drug. And so when you need a high, you just call them. And what do you call them for? Maybe it's for conversation, maybe it's for, sex, maybe it's for, I don't know, whatever it is, right? And so you have to be cautious as to when navigating a relationship. And I want to kind of gear this towards talking with you guys as opposed to talking at you, right? Because I want this all to be an inclusive. Share some of your experiences, right? Because I know I've had my fair share of relationships where I've medicated and I wasn't going anywhere. Like, I just wanted somebody to make me feel good because I didn't have a sense of feeling good because I didn't have a goal with my own life. So if I didn't have any goals, I might as well just have somebody to be like, just roaming life with, right? That's the overall consensus among singles. Now, I'm going to bring back some articles and facts later because we actually did a little bit of studying before this, and it's actually very interesting. But again, is your relationship, have you analyzed and dug deep into your relationship about whether or not it's actually supplemental or actually just kind of just more sedation? Is it more something that you guys are in? And again, this isn't geared towards you. Maybe you know somebody, so maybe share this video with them. But really just open up the conversation, whether it's with you, your relationship, whoever, whether or not that relationship is actually predicated on fulfillment or feeling, because then you have to understand whether or not it's medicating or it's actually purposeful, if it's actually producing fruits. And so, Miles, what do you think?
Somebody's calling in for something.
Yikes.
So just to kind of bring it back in, so painkiller versus vitamin, he went like the supplement route. And for those of you guys who aren't, bodybuilders or don't take supplements or don't believe in that, I mean, we do have to supplement somewhat because we don't get the same vitamins and nutrients as we used to. Used to be a fitness, trainer, so like plug. But painkillers, sedation, you can't have that you can't just go down to CVS and get that. Vitamins are readily available. Supplement stores are everywhere. There's so many different companies and things that you can get vital supplements to help support your body. And vitamins, if you think about it like this, right now with everything going on, what are they talking about? Build your immune system, build your immune system, build your immune system. You can't do that with painkillers. You have to do that with vitamins, and that takes a build-up process. So is your relationship, going back to it, are you just sedating and you want to be with that person because you don't want to be alone? Are you just wanting that, you have fun with them, but there's really no depth there? Or is it a vitamin factor where there's really nourishing growth and just actual being and living
super key
done in that relationship? And I've been in relationships where, gosh, there was no growth at all. I'm just like, is this really going anywhere? And I started making up stories in my head as to like, oh no, this is going to be great. Here's the key factor. I didn't want to start over. I didn't want to take all that time I didn't want to think of time being wasted. And so you have to look at it like this. If you're in a painkiller relationship, if you're in something that's really not going anywhere and you're just sedating, whether you gotta like smoke some weed or you gotta drink or you gotta like go take your own time and really just be by yourself because of whatever it is that's going on, you have to really ask yourself, just cool out.
Ryan.
You have to ask yourself, is it worth spending the rest of your life in this situation? And I've been talking to a lot of people. Actually, I just talked to this lady today who she said she got out of like an 8-year-long abusive relationship, verbally abusive. And, I've actually been in verbally and physically abusive relationships, and it was hard to get out of. But once it clicked and I was just like, oh, heck no, not anymore. It was easy to move on because you know that you deserve better. But being in a painkiller relationship is going to do absolutely nothing for you. You got to have that vitamin love, that nourishing love, and it takes time. Your immune system doesn't just pop up overnight being like, okay, we're good. You know, even though we may feel good, we're in California, so we're technically on quarantine. We can't go outside, or not supposed to anyways. And it's one of those where, like, I could go outside, I'm sure I'll be fine. You know, I'm healthy, I eat well, but at the end of the day, like, I'm not just gonna go test it just to test it. Mm-hmm. So it's really coming down to the point of, like, you have to ask yourself, can your relationship, again, going back to the first, line of this, can your relationship withstand any virus? And if it's going to challenge you, viruses will challenge you. It's going to challenge your immune system. It's going to challenge your relationship. That is good because you need to have those tests. But those viruses, are that you going to let them sink and kill you? Or are you going to let them break you apart? Are you going to let them break you? I talked to another gentleman today that was saying how a breakup that he went through was just so devastating. He asked me, how do you get through a breakup? And first off, I know this is a little bit of a tangent, but this plays back into the virus part because breakups are huge viruses in relationships, or endings of some. But then that virus will stay and leech and leak on to every other part of your life if you don't learn to let go. So here's the thing. He asked me how to get through it, and I said, okay, well, you have to ask yourself first. Well, first of all, no one deserves to be cheated on. Point blank, period. Like, at all. None, zero. If you want to try to work through that, that's on your terms. But you have to ask yourself, there's no excuse for someone to cheat on you. But because I've been in that situation, there was one moment where it was a big situation. And I asked myself, am I the person I needed to be? Am I the person who I needed to be in that moment, in that relationship? Even though, cheating, there's no excuse for it. But was like really that person that was the best version of me? And I said no. And not that I condone him cheating at all, period, but I wasn't the person I needed to be. And then just walking away, having that end, I was able to get over that, move on, and not waste my time on somebody who didn't see me as a value. And you may be stuck in a relationship right now where somebody has cheated on you. They are verbally, physically, mentally abusing you, and you don't know how to get out of it because you don't even know your own self-worth. And so you're letting situations like that person controlling you, whether it's the time, the influence they have on your life or whatever, to be a virus that just sticks and stays and you can't shake it loose. Okay. So I'm going to let you tap in here because I just just went off.
So we're about to have a poll right now. Which is better, painkillers or vitamins?
See if you guys have been paying attention.
Done more right now.
Because I don't want the painkillers and I know you want the vitamins.
Why not?
First of all, I got some really big hands, so I beat him every time. I'm not going to shame him. I've already beat you once on here, so
they're unusually big, which is strange. But I love her hands.
Oh
nice
my
and
gosh.
Soft. Plug Johnson & Johnson.
Talking about natural stuff. I don't need that. Whatever.
You do that organica.
But
all right. So back to the point. Is that so? If you take a look at this, and we're going to tie this into a real life thing, right? So a virus. What on heaven, earth, and hell is a virus? All I can say is that it's something that's bad, that clings onto you because a virus needs a source of life, clings onto that life, and then eventually finds a way to overtake your body in some fashion if it can. If you don't have a strong enough immune system, then it eventually will cause you to even be sicker. She said, burn. Vitamins, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey.
Vitamin C.
We didn't need to do a thumb war. Oh.
All right.
Man,
so
you're out of control.
So if you don't have a strong enough immune system, I think we could all agree that this virus is inevitably going to kill you, right? And so if you take a look at some of the relationships out there, or maybe within your vicinity, maybe even one you're in right now, you take a look at it and you have to assess whether or not somebody's actually clinging on to you because you're the source of life and they need you.
Ooh.
Or they're actually adding the value on top of what you already have. Meaning, if you have a great, let's say gut health and whatever, you're gonna do everything you can to maintain that kind of gut health. Ensure nothing's going on, in that gastrointestinal area, right? And so vitamins are crucial. Now you want to date a vitamin. You don't want to date a virus. Both starts with V. But you need a vitamin in order to declare victory. And so when you think about that, I like V's right now. I'm on one. And so when you think about it, you have to assess, all right, well, what are the qualities of a vitamin? And that's completely contingent upon you. And that's where we kind of leave things open-ended, right? You have to assess whether or not somebody's qualified to be your vitamin, whether that's, they speak my love language, they get along with my friends, they respect my privacy, they're not clingy, they give me the ability to freely roam as an individual human being, right? So they respect me as a person, and then eventually you go on through all these qualities. You know what's crazy, Boo, is that I was reading an article that was discussing whether or not singles are happier than married couples. Let me know if you guys are coupled. If you guys are coupled,
or if you're in a relationship.
If you're in a relationship, in short, let me know if you're happier or if you're happy single. If you're in a relationship and you say single is better, I'm worried for you desperately. But let me know what it is at your thoughts, because I was reading articles time and time again talking about how singles are potentially happier, and also too is that we're in a boom of singles today, and there's a reason for that, because I think we've been so patronized and so downloaded by society around us from like let's say the nuclear family, where you have a wife, a husband, 2 kids, a picket fence, and we've slowly digressed from that as we've gotten in future generations. We've digressed from that and saying we don't actually need that to be happy, because when you take a look at prior generations where we had parents that are married at like 15 and had like 2 kids on a minimum wage job or like whatever, right, and a picket fence, like we realize that that's maybe not be the only way to happiness. But then when we digress and look at couples now, there's never been more singles in the world ever than before than right now, because a lot of people are trying to find happiness, much more happiness in partnerships and couples and dating and things like that. But I don't think we've made the qualification process sturdy enough like we did in prior generations to assess whether or not we've actually been in good, solid, withstanding relationships. Because relationships back then were geared towards finding whether or not this person was adequate to raise a family with, to conjoin finances with, things like this. Relationships nowadays are just whether or not we want to be happy. And so those are kind of some of the things that I want you guys to think about.
Great. And I'm going to touch on that too. So when you think of it like this, like we're in such an instant society where if you want to go and find something, you just got to go to Google. You go online and boom, it's there instantly. Yeah. And so the painkillers is going to it's going to dull the pain instantly. Yeah. But vitamins take time. The whole singleness part.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Sorry. I was on a roll.
The whole singleness part is, it's not a bad thing to be able to take your time and figure out what you need as a person in order to attract what it is that you truly want. But a lot of people are taking their time because they're too scared of getting hurt. They're too scared of putting themselves out there. They're letting a past virus rule them right now and govern them in fear and guide their decisions. And then on top of that, it's in like the millennial society, that's what we are. Mm-hmm. People just want to make sure, they want to take their time, and some people are taking too long, and then it's going to be too late. I have friends where they're like approaching their 40s and they're just like, gosh, is it going to be too late for me? And it's never too late. God has somebody for you, point blank period. There's somebody for you. But at the end of the day, like, you can't just sit there and wait for the absolute perfect one, because nothing's absolutely perfect. It's all going to take work, and it's all going to take a matter of growth for you and that other person. So vitamins are going to take time. It's going to take time to sprout. It's going to take time to grow. But painkillers are just like an instant, instant gratification, and that's the kind of society we are. So you really got to ask yourself, which one are you? And I think that pretty much, sums it up, is you just got to ask yourself, what side of the coin are you on? Are you on the nourishing, or are you on just the instant gratification because you don't want to be alone, you don't want to deal with what's actually there?
I just want to say this. Shouts to my guy, Ryan. He called me a Jonas brother. I'm so honored by that. We're franchising the Jonas Brothers. I'm the first Latino franchise.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I'm actually very honored by that. The brown Nick Jonas. Wow. So, once you go brown, you never turn around. Wow, that's crazy.
All right. One-liners. So, can we filter this out?
All right. So, I do want to say this though, is that this is meant to be thought-provoking in the sense where we're not telling you, what to do. We never really do that on here. What we do want to do though is just provoke some thought into your own personal life and maybe even your social circle. You know, if you know somebody that's going through, you know, the ringer with their relationship, you know, ask these questions. You know, are they, you know, again, and to sum up this whole thesis, painkillers. Those are meant to be right now. You're hurting bad. You want something to medicate it. Vitamins, those are meant to be supplemental to the good that you're already doing, you know? So nobody takes vitamins, you know, whenever they have like, nobody takes, you know, fiber whenever they're having like a stomach ache. It's just like, that's not the natural thing you do. You take like, you know, what are you, Pepto-Bismol or something to hit it quick, right? But then like, you never know what the precursor to that stomach ache was. It may be something, you know, that you weren't taking care of your gut or something along those lines, right? You need vitamins. And so, you know, allow this to be thought-provoking. Take it to your people. Share this with somebody you know. Because again, I think the overall silver lining in this whole conversation is just the qualification process and thoroughly asking yourself, all right, what is it that I need in my own personal life? And how is it that I supplement that in a good way? If I have people that are clinging on to me and in very unhealthy ways and want to just be in a relationship with me just for relationship's sake, maybe I need to readjust who it is that I'm in association with and attachment to. Because there are a lot of unhealthy attachments and people just want you just to want you. Mm-hmm. And only to cling on to your energy, only to suck it up until they're ready to move on to the next victim, right? Ooh. And so, I mean, that's exactly how a virus works. And, you know,
we got vitamins, victim, virus, victory. Shoot, pick any one of those and just cling on to that. Whatever
V's
speaks
for
to
days.
you.
Get that vitamin V, that vitamin victory.
Okay.
Know what I'm saying? Just
well,
cook up the pot.
We appreciate you guys for jumping on as always. And if you found value in this, please share it. Put it on your story. You know, tag somebody who needs to hear this message because again, there's a lot of painkillers out there, painkiller relationships, and needs to be more vitamins.
We don't like the pain.
No, I mean nobody does, but you got to be able to work through in order to grow from it. So we appreciate you guys. I know
that's a bar and a half.
We appreciate you guys. Much love, and hope you guys are staying safe out there. And we will see you next week.
We appreciate you guys. Thank you. Much love.